with Radio Gaga. We got three people here going Gaga on radio here over Taylor Swift.
Rightfully so, because
Yes.
we're breathing the same air as Taylor Swift right now, okay?
We are here with Dr. Natasha Riarda, of course, who is a clinical psychologist and normally comes in to talk to us about early childhood development and parent mental health, for caregivers as well. Today, it's something a little different.
Yes. Welcome back, Dr. Natasha. Now, we are live on Facebook this morning, facebook.com/1FM91.3. The lady is absolutely glowing because, Swiftposium, you're here to talk about it. It's a huge thing. But, before we get into all of that, Dr. Natasha, can you tell us why the hype over Taylor Swift? What's the big deal?
Oh, no.
How long you got?
Yeah, how long do I have?
30 seconds.
30 seconds?
Yeah.
Well, she does have a 17-year career. Maybe
okay.
longer, I don't know. Sorry if my math is a bit off this morning, but I would say like billions of fans worldwide. Countless daily media. You can't not hear about her every day. And I mean, she's a billionaire. I don't know what else to say. She's made money off of her thing, of her music.
But
Yeah.
It
What
resonates, right? Does it resonate?
Yeah, what is the draw, the appeal? I mean, she's the blonde hair, blue eyed girl, America's sweetheart. But beyond that, I mean, what is the appeal? Is it the lyrics? Is it the image? What is it?
For me personally, I can just talk about how it relates to me is her songs. They really are very deeply personal. People can relate to it. You can listen to her songs and they can make you happy, they can make you cry. So I think it's about how people relate to that.
Okay,
I mean,
great.
more seriously.
I mean, a lot of people talk about how she is very, vulnerable with her songs. She reveals everything in her lyrics, right? So you always feel like you kind of know her personally as well.
I feel like that's how you find out about her relationships with her boyfriends. what went wrong? All
New
the little
album coming
secrets
out.
being leaked in her songs.
When the relationship
Okay,
ends,
to
right?
be completely fair to her, not that I'm defensive. She does have I don't know, 2 albums talking about things going right. So she's got love songs in Reputation, in
Yeah.
Lover. So
Okay.
not just about the bad times. So I think that also helps people relate because love is about being in love, observing love, heartbreak, the good times. I think she covers all of that
Okay.
quite nicely.
So you were actually in Australia recently for the Swiftposium, the very first of its kind in the world. Can you tell us about it and your involvement with it?
Okay, where do I begin? At the start? I don't know.
Sure.
So I was really didn't take it seriously at first. I was at this conference dinner another conference, and my friend Yi Kiao, who is this pediatrician, was like, hey, do you know that there's this thing? And I was like, no.
It sounds like a joke, right?
I was like, just stop.
Yeah.
I know, I love her, let's move on. And she's like, no, I'm real. And she shows it to me and I'm like, the wheels were turning.
Very quickly, an idea was formed, I guess.
Yeah, so then I started talking about it to my team, who again had the same reaction that I did. They were laughing and ha ha ha, Natasha being Natasha again. Because they're fully aware. My laptop is just stickers of her and the wallpaper is her. So they know.
Yeah.
It's not a surprise. But then they became they were really encouraging. They were like, this is you. It's a conference built for you, do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it just goes to show how huge she has become. I mean, there are symposiums around Taylor Swift. There are university courses being offered in the US as well. So, she's just on the up and up, okay? What is the fascinating draw? What lessons are there to be learned from Taylor? We are jumping onto Facebook Live for more answers with Dr. Natasha Riarda. Send us your questions as well, 88550 Good morning, everyone on Facebook. Thanks so much for joining us. Dr. Natasha Riarda in the house, fresh off the Swiftposium.
Yeah, we're talking about this symposium that you attended last month in February, around the time that she was, just before she was going to perform in Melbourne. But what were some of the surprising things that you learned or experienced from this symposium, the Swiftposium?
Yeah, I think the most surprising to me was that, because the joke was that, among the academics, at any universities, that, oh great, this bunch of people, specifically women, found a way to, mash their academic like their job with this, right? So that's kind of like the running joke. But going there and talking to the people there made me realize that actually a lot of them weren't Swifties.
Oh.
Yeah. They would be like, yes. So the face that Carol is making, I was there going, huh? I was like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, you're like, you have no right.
No,
to be here.
They were just studying the phenomenon.
Yes. So there were people who were like lawyers. So there were presentations from lawyers because she was in a sexual assault case, right? And so they were they were presenting on like maybe her involvement in it, like how it looked like there were people from medicine.
Medicine?
Yes.
The connection?
CPR.
Oh, with the music Shake It Off?
Like,
or something?
I can't remember if Shake It Off was one of the songs, but it was like Teardrops on My Guitar, Love Story, Speak Now, 22, Welcome to New York. Like, these were the songs that you could sort of have in your head so that you can maintain the right, like, compression thingy. And the presentation was so cool because they brought a dummy.
Oh, to perform?
They brought the actual, like, CPR dummy and they did it.
So cute.
Yeah, so I think there was this joke about they were kind of sick of Staying Alive because that was like the Bee Gees song, and they were like, look, we need more relevant songs from today.
That is true. I mean, but that's the one that our generation remembers, because did we invent CPR? I don't know. Was it our generation that thought of it or the one before?
But it's just going to be hilarious because now all CPR is going to be a performance in itself, right? People are singing Taylor Swift songs.
She's
the guy
literally
alive.
Saves lives.
Yeah, no, that's true. No, you put that
I'll
way.
let that one go, Dr. Natasha. I'll let it go. Yeah, I'll shake it off. What other interesting topics were there at the symposium?
There was one that looked at how her lyrics have been mentioned in Australian Parliament. So there was this PhD student, I think, and she looked at in all the states, like there were in Australia, I think there were only 2 that has never mentioned her lyrics in Parliament. Yeah.
No way.
And there were like scripts and videos that she showed to kind of like, and she would highlight. So it would be things like, I guess people like members of Parliament saying things like, you know, things are not going all too well and other kinds of things. But, you know, like we cannot just shake this off or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you think, did she point out it was intentional or like?
Some were really intentional because she showed us like one script from Parliament and it was just line like after line. So she was saying about how sometimes some of the writers are quite young and into her music and they would kind of like
slip it in.
Slip it in.
Nice.
That was so interesting. Who would go to a Swiftposium and then, you know, learn about CPR?
So from your perspective, right?
Parliament.
Just like, why do you think Taylor has such a widespread impact, you know? Like, how is this seeping in, you know, the pop culture? How is this seeping into politics now?
Yeah, I feel like I don't know how to answer that question without bringing up too much of the politics stuff. But I think what's happening with her is that there are lots of things that have happened to her, like with things involving like the Kanye West and like her music sort of not belonging to her and then re-recording. So she's gone up there to do lots of firsts. And she has really revolutionized and changed that music industry. Like I think because of her, I think recording companies are like having to really step up and go, hey, wait, we got to put in clauses that people can't re-record or they can only re-record after this. So just she's out there really like into her music, you know, that's a thing.
Yeah. My goodness, that's how you know someone's really huge, right? Everybody is talking about it. And we'll be heading back on air. Join us there. It's 1FM. Shalimar singing about his night at the Taylor Swift concert, A Night to Remember, here on FM 91.3, Good Times, Greatest Hits. A very chuffed studio guest this morning joining us, Dr. Natasha Riarda, a clinical psychologist with over 10 years experience, and she's the clinic manager at the James Cook University Singapore Psychology Clinic, in to talk about her experience at Swiftposium recently.
You know, it was clear what you were saying. There was a real plethora of people. You had medics, you had lawyers, you had people like yourself there as well. So clearly there was also kind of an age difference. So clearly she's appealed in many different ways to generations.
Yes, because
not just the young ones.
No.
Right. Now, why do you think that is?
Well, my boss, Professor Nigel Marsh, who is the co-author of our paper, he was bringing up that it's about the grandchildren. So it's sort of like, with me, when I play her music and I love her music and it transfers to my children, like my daughter can sing a lot of her songs.
Okay.
And so this transfers as well to, when they hang out with their grandparents, and it's a way for them to bond.
Connect.
Connect, yes.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like all across the board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing that she can have such a profound effect. But she's probably not the first person to do so, right? I'm sure, in Beatles, Elvis and all that, they were used. But I guess given the prevalence of like social media and all that, the world has shrunk a little bit. Everyone can come together a lot easier as well.
Also, can we ask about your involvement specifically with the symposium? I think we haven't had the listeners give them a chance to know exactly how you were involved.
Your paper.
Oh, yes. Okay.
How much time do we have?
Come attend one of my lectures. Okay. So I look specifically, like for me, my perspective is on mental health, right? So when I'm listening to her music, I'm sort of picking out lyrics that make me really go, oh my gosh, this is something, like this is a big one that relates to mental health. So that was kind of what I was presenting about.
Could you give us an example?
I want to, but like I realized my paper is there. Can I just get my bag? In my excitement, I only took my phone.
And it's in a Swifty bag.
Is there anything that's not Swift related today?
Today,
Can you show the bracelets on camera?
The
there you
Yeah,
go.
she's got the Swifty bracelets.
Nice.
She's got her shirt ready for the concert.
So in the clinic, we use something called process-based therapy.
Okay.
But it looks at very, very important key dimensions for mental health. Okay, we just go straight into what's important. People need to learn more about their thoughts, their emotions, their actions, what motivates them, where they put their attention on, and things like that. So what I did was that I put her lyric to match each dimension. One like for helping them understand it better, and then also lyrics that sort of look at, well, now that I understand it, what do I do? Yeah. So maybe I'll give an example. So the one that I really like is that for the thoughts dimension, she has this song, This Is Me Trying, from Folklore, and she says, they told me all of my cages were mental, so I got wasted like all my potential. So this one is really looking at how your cages are mental, right?
Yeah.
The thing that's holding you back
in
are
your
this
head.
sort of negative, automatic, unhelpful thoughts. You keep ruminating, and they're going to get in the way of you sort of like living the life that you want. So that's kind of like the thing to help them understand like issues that could be associated with that dimension. And then I think this one I've mentioned before, like on the show, but helping the interns sort of understand, okay, so you've got this and what do you do? So you got to take an observer's perspective. So is that lyric that says, when I'm above the trees, I see it for what it is, but now I'm right down in it. So that's from Happiness Evermore, where she's sort of saying, look, when you are out of that cage, when you're in the cage, you're stuck. That's all you can think of. But if you sort of take an observer's perspective and look at your mind from the outside, that's where it can be clearer.
Bigger picture?
Yes,
Yeah.
bigger picture.
Right.
Wow, that's really deep stuff and very applicable. I never would have looked at Taylor's lyrics in that way. But, a lot of songs have the potential to do that as well. So maybe we have to think of an artist that you can next look at, all right? Dr. Riard, since you are here, we got a Taylor Swift song just for you. You want to introduce it?
Yes, this is Shake It Off by Taylor, and it's dedicated to Prof. Nigel Marsh.
Oh,
Got nothing in my brain.
Good times. Greatest hits. 1FM 91.3.